Everybody, today we're going to be talking about my top 10 that I would love to see gaming edition wise or gameplay edition wise for Marvel Spider Man 2. We're going to be starting off with ones that I would like slash expect to see, and then as we get further down to the top 10 or lower on the list, it'll be ones that I'm not expecting, but I would enjoy being in the game. So, starting us off with number one, running down walls. We, in both Marvel Spider-Man 1 and the in the kind of side game Miles Morales, we are able to run left to right and up a wall, but we can't run down a wall. The only time we've been able to kind of play going down a wall is spoiler when we fought Doc Ock at the end of Spider-Man 1. So I think adding that extra um, verticality to it would be such a nice addition to the game. So going to number two, more web swinging animations for Peter. One thing that I will give Insomniac is their attention to the web swinging is phenomenal. It's the best the swinging has ever felt, especially with Miles Morales, where he just feels more free flow, and he's you can tell he's kind of learning his style and just having fun with it. As with Peter, he's been doing this for 8+ years or so, and he's kind of gotten used to it. He has his style down. So I think more animations for Peter, even more tricks, it would help give Peter more, I guess, more style. Which, let's be honest, that's kind of one cornerstone of Spider-Man is his style. Number three, more aggressive takedowns, specifically for the black suit. Because if we all know, when Peter gets the symbiote suit um, in any media, comic book, game, show, movie, he tends to not hold back that much. Take this particular Spider-Man. When Pete gets that black suit, so especially during that episode, like if you've seen that show, you know that episode, he tends to be more aggressive. In Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 3, Pete was a little more aggressive. So I think showing the symbiote's hold on Peter starting to grow more and more prevalent. I think the uh, fighting animation, specifically the takedowns, getting more and more and more aggressive would be a good, not only gameplay aspect, but a good narrative aspect because Pete, he does pull his punches. You know, he does pull his punches. But showing him progressively starting to not hold back, I think that would be a great addition to not only the combat, but the narrative. Number four, being able to switch between Miles and Peter. Whether that's in mid combat, mid mission, or after a mission. Like, say you're stopping a bank robbery as Miles, then Pete comes in for backup because there might be too many guys or Scorpion might come. Who knows? And then after the mission, Miles has to go help Rio with something, and then we play as Pete. I think switching between the two Spider-Men would bring something fun to the table because, yeah, New York does have two Spider-Men now, and being able to see both of their both of what they're doing, Miles being a teenager who's still in school, Peter who's the OG. I think being able to switch between both of them, even if it's after you beat the story, that would be an excellent addition, and just bring something fresh to the table. Number 5, we're at the midway point. Symbiote suit specific gameplay. I've seen people talk about this, and after thinking about it, this would be excellent. Like maybe you have some tendrils come out when the symbiote suit is getting more and more bonded to Peter, or your punches hit harder, like I was saying in number 3, or your jumps go go farther. Pete's spidey sense could be more heightened and go off just a tad bit sooner. And then once you use a different suit that's not the symbiote, like say you switch to the Stark suit, it would go back to his base gameplay.
Got an algorithm in the suit that can extrapolate where the kidnappers might have gone.
Or let's say for stealth, it takes the bad guys more time to see you, especially if you're in the dark. Because hey, the symbiote suit's black, and in darkness, you tend to blend in. So I think specific gameplay for the symbiote suit, that would be very interesting. And I just have to throw this in. Please, Insomniac, include the bell tower. Any bell tower for the symbiote suit narrative. Please. Maybe even take inspiration from Sam Raimi's film, because that film might be a giant walking meme, but that bell tower scene, perfect. Kicking it to number 6. This is something that I love about Venom and Peter. Venom not triggering Pete's spider sense. Like, just imagine this scenario. Pete has to go investigate a disturbance somewhere. You're walking around or crawling around a building or a part of the city, that all of a sudden, like in Miles Morales, when the Prowler jumps you, you could either get webbed up, knocked down, pounced on by Venom. Tell me that wouldn't be the biggest jump scare, especially if done right in a Spider-Man game. Like, they did say the game would be a bit darker. What's darker than a Venom jump scare? especially if the game is, or if that part, it could be in a warehouse. It could be at night in a dark alley. You know? Give Venom that not exactly horror vibe, but let the players and the Spider-Man know that Venom is a force to be reckoned with. He's he's gonna be a problem, especially if the early warning system that Pete and Miles have can't detect Venom. You can even have that specifically for Peter because the symbiote is akin to Pete's powers. Maybe Venom can set off Miles' spidey sense. Numbers 7. This is one that I remember from the 90s show. A dream sequence of Peter being conflicted. Now, what do I mean by that? If you've seen that show, you know there was a dream sequence of Peter being chased by Venom, and then there's Venom, Peter, and the Spider-Man suit. And Venom and the Spider-Man suit are like giants, and then here's Peter being caught between the conflict of Venom and Spider-Man. I guess you could say this is just a revamped version of the Mr. Negative parts, but playing as Peter in a vulnerable state with Venom trying to whisper into Pete's mind like you you don't need the Venom blue suit. I'm your suit. I'm all you need. Tell me that wouldn't be one sad, two a good like I guess a good way to show Pete is becoming more and more reliant and not sure if he wants to go down this path because Pete is all about protecting the city and being a symbol of hope and safety. So seeing him being conflicted about whether to continue being that symbol that Spider-Man stands for or to go down the same route as, again, spoiler for the Silver Lining DLC, going down the same route as his old pal Yuri Watanabe. You know, both of them were on the straight and narrow route of being a hero and protector of the city. Granted, one's a superhero and the other one was a cop, but they both wanted to protect the city. Now imagine Peter being conflicted between continuing being that symbol or being more aggressive and possibly doing something he'll regret. Number 8. Wall/ceiling takedowns as Peter. That is one thing that I love about the Miles Morales. Wow, Morales game. Oh my god. Being able to take down thugs on the ceiling or the wall. It adds that extra flair to the game, and it is something that Spider-Man should be able to do, whether you're Miles or Pete. Especially if Miles and Pete have their own animations of taking down thugs. Miles can yank them up and kick them on the walls and come down on the from the ceiling web and pull them up. You could have Pete like pull them up with one hand, punch them with the other, then web them to the wall for the wall takedown. And I don't actually know what for the ceiling takedown, since that's yeah. my creativity meter is being tested for this. Number 9. We're getting more and more into the area of things that I would be over the moon to see. Hero cameos.
New York without a seedy drug deal.
We've seen Daredevil being confirmed to be in Insomniac's gaming, at least hero universe for Marvel. We saw the Nelson and Murdoch law firm. We saw Josie's bar. Pete has the Nelson and Murdoch business card given to him by Matt Murdock, aka Daredevil. We've seen, well, not seen, but
Nothing puts a pep in my step.
Insomniac is making a Wolverine game, which I'm so freaking hyped for. I'm so excited for that game. So, having a Wolverine cameo, or even just Logan, like some Easter eggs of him, that would be a good way to intertwine the Wolverine game and the Spider-Man games. Hell, you can have some Avengers cameo since Avengers Tower is in the game. I think that would be a great way to like flesh out their universe and possibly set up other games. If by some miracle of God you watch this Insomniac, I beg you, Daredevil game, please. There's so much untapped potential for the man without fear. And to finish off our list at number 10, post credits for Carnage / Green Goblin. Oh my god, how cool would that be? Like, you beat the game, you take down Venom, and who I'm assuming is Kraven the Hunter. And then, just like with Miles Morales in the first game, we've seen we've seen post-credit scenes for Venom, setting him up. What if we see a cutscene of Venom giving birth to Carnage? Or we see Norman going in
Like a high-speed chase to keep a guy on his toes.
going in his lab, in his condo / penthouse thing, and coming out of a chamber with green mist, and he's like yoked, and then it could pan to the Green Goblin mask or his glider or a pumpkin bomb, just setting up the next main baddies for Spider-Man 3. That would, one, be the hypest thing ever, because Green Goblin and Carnage, best Spider-Man villains ever. Oof, especially if Insomniac does a boss battle with Carnage. Sweet. So, that is my top 10 gameplay additions for Marvel Spider-Man 2. What do you guys think? Do you agree? Or do you think some other elements could be adapted into the sequel? Let me know down below. And do you guys want more top 10 videos? Let me know and leave a like, subscribe for more. And I'll see you guys in next one. Bye.
But if I lay down and I play dead and I stay dead, maybe you'll get sick